Hi, today I wanted to continue this format of showing you speed paint of my recent painting and talking about some stuff. And today I wanted to reflect a little bit on what helped me to grow as an artist. And I just want to share my art journey, where I studied, what I did, yeah, stuff like that. I've been drawing from very early age, as I know, like from 2 years old, and I've been to art school like since two. Obviously, stuff that you draw when you're 2 years old is not something like very thoughtful. But anyways, I've been in art school since I was two until 15 or something, and I, as long as I can remember myself, I've been mostly drawing, and it's like my second nature. However, I cannot say that art was my like true passion in the sense of like um I remember I loved doing some other stuff as well, like playing with toys, hanging out with friends and stuff. I was never like considering myself an artist until I became a teenager. But before that, not really. And I know from some stories of some great artists, they say that in childhood they were drawing a lot. They remember how they started to love drawing. I honestly cannot remember that for myself. I only started drawing seriously when I think in my teenagehood. But going back to the art school, I don't think that it made such a huge difference on my art skills, but rather just showed me what art can be about, what art can be like. Yeah, because I don't remember much from my art school. I don't remember a lot of the theory, like how do you use gouache, how do you use watercolor, what, like, yeah, I know the basics, but not the details. And I don't remember if we were taught how to use that in art and how to draw better. Like, yeah, sure, we were taught something, but honestly, comparing to what I know about learning art now, it was nothing because I can. Maybe it was my mistake. Obviously, maybe I didn't study hard enough. But honestly, I don't remember much from my art school. But I just remember that I was always drawing and I had lots of drawings, and that's for sure. So yeah, art school was great about introducing me to art, and later it was surely easy for me. Like the whole concept of art, the whole concept of drawing, is not something that is foreign to me, and it is my second nature. Yeah, and when I was like 13, 14, I think I found some page of some artist and that was sharing their art every day, and I fell in love with this idea. And I thought, well, I have to get this sketchbook thing for myself, and I went and bought it, my very first sketchbook, and I've been drawing in it during school lessons, during breaks, at home. I just loved to draw my own ideas, and now the sketchbook lays somewhere at my mom's house, and I don't think I even have photos from it, and I don't remember what I was drawing. But yeah, it was basically mm time when I tried to draw every day. I tried to learn how to draw better, and this is how my art journey began, I would say. I tried the challenge of 365 days of drawing. I tried different other challenges, different sketchbooks, different materials. It was just fun. I just enjoyed art itself. And later, as school finished, I also went to some like during last years of school. I went during last year of school. I went to a course by my university. This is like a course for a preparation for the exams, for the entering exams, and I've been drawing. I think it's like clay heads, like antique heads, and some geometrical compositions and stuff. And it definitely helped me with feeling of perspective, proportions, and stuff like this. Definitely up to my skills a lot when I was going to those courses, because it was somewhat serious education, and later it continued during university. But the problem was that I was studying to be a graphic designer, not knowing what graphic design was. And funny thing, it's not about drawing, it's not about painting, it's about designing. And yeah, like I wanted to draw so much that I thought that graphic design was about that was stupid. I agree. And later, after a year and a half of studying there, when we started to do more design, less drawing and painting, I decided that I need to step away from that. And I I didn't really like how they were teaching us to paint, teaching us to draw. It was not really a good education in that sense. It was great education in design, that I agree. It's a great university for design, but not for painting, particularly my faculty. Yeah, and I decided I need to study by myself, and I took an academical leave, and I immediately created a personal learning plan. I learned color theory, composition theory. I learned how to draw on my graphic tablet because back then I did not had enough practice with it yet. And for half a year, I was trying to follow that plan, and it was somewhat successful, somewhere not. And I got my very first job there in the development of a mobile game, and I started to draw for a game. And by that time I decided that yeah, I don't want to go back to university. I mean, I wanted to. I still want to go to some university, to be honest. But when I went back to that university, they increased the fee, and me like I tried to be study I tried to study there again, but with the increased fee and not worth it education, I just thought no, I'd rather spend my money differently. And I went and bought some online courses on digital drawing. And I think it was a very, very good idea because mm, I think after 1 year of online courses, I, okay, maybe a year and a half back then, and working with indie developers, I finally got my first job. But going back to the courses, it was basic, like fundamental courses about digital art. How do you draw like a chest in digital? How do you draw different cubes and materials? How do you draw different values and compositions? And I was studying environment concept art, and how to do like sci-fi concept art, how to do fantasy concept art. And later some of the works from those courses end up in my portfolio. And yeah, later I was just working and trying to find a studio job, and in 2019 I got my first studio job, working for a drawing for mobile games. And that's, I think, where my actual active learning began, because at work, drawing 8 hours a day, um, like while your art lead watches you, gives you advice, gives you feedback, that's where you actively grow. And back then in the industry, I don't know how juniors feel now, but back then my first job was like second university, I would say, because I had amazing art leads, in the sense of teaching, helping you with your like mistakes. And I also tried, whenever they got me feedback, I was like comparing it to the old feedback, and I was looking if I have the same mistakes, and if I had the same mistakes, I tried to get like I was more attentive to that, and I tried not to make those mistakes anymore. And after finishing a piece, I would send it to feedback first to myself. So I would look at it as my art lead would look at it, and I would give myself some feedback. I would give myself some overpaint and correct it, and only then I would send it to my leads. And it was a successful strategy, I would say, because at some point I became I I started to get less feedback on several of my mistakes, so it got better. I worked there for 2.5 years, and I think I've been growing as an artist, not as fast, but I tried my best to do so. I wasn't drawing. One of the big mistakes I would say was not drawing on my own, not drawing for myself, for my personal art. Maybe it shouldn't have been like something for portfolio, but I should have been drawing something just for myself. And now, when I draw apart from my work, Um, I try to draw something that is like experimental, something that I would not put into my portfolio for mobile games. It's something that I just enjoy drawing, and like art was always my hobby. And when it became my job, I forgot that it was my hobby as well, and I stopped having a hobby, which was crucial. And unfortunately, after like 2.5 years of working at that company, I got a little bit burned out. Then I switched my job. Like I went to another studio, and there I had an amazing art lead. I worked on a project with her, and she was just amazing person, giving me so much feedback, and I grew so fast with her. Like after just few months of working with her, I started to use a lot of 3D in my work. I was so much better at drawing, generally. And at some point we didn't have enough tasks, and I had time. My art lead gave me this course that she and some other artists made, and she said, like, since we don't have any tasks right now, you can like complete this course. And I was drawing for a course, and then I would show my works to her, and she would feedback it, and it was like amazing, like another university, yay. Another learning opportunity. I loved it. And so I was drawing some stuff on perspective again, on color, on how to color different environments, different atmospheres, different moods, different weather situations, like different time of the day and stuff. Because I was like I'm an environment artist, and that's my specialty. So I was trying to learn something that would be helpful at my job. And yeah, I was working on that a lot, and then I switched the project after like a year. I switched the project to another one on which I worked for also 1 year. And it was also quite full of learning. Definitely I can see after, oh my god, I don't remember actually how long have I been working on that project, 1 year or 2 years, but yeah, like around, I think around 2 years. And comparing what I started with and what I finished with, I grew so much in my skills, in my rendering skills, in my concept art skills. It was an amazing job in that sense. I drew a lot of environments. I drew a lot of concepts of buildings and different grades and stuff in isometric perspective. It was very interesting. I still miss this job, honestly. It was also in the setting of ancient times, and it was so interesting to learn how to concept art of, like, how to make a concept art of buildings in the past. And like you have to learn special like architectural styles that they used in these buildings, how they, like, back then they did not use any nails, so you have to think a lot. And it was very interesting. Unfortunately, for all of this period of this working for those projects, I didn't draw a lot. I was drawing sometimes. Um, I was drawing like something once in a month, maybe in 3 months. Sometimes I had periods when I would draw every day, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm back to it. I am growing. I know how to do better." And especially like when I just started the project, I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna become the best artist ever. And I would study a lot. I would draw every day. I would practice a lot of different stuff. I would read books. I would watch a lot of videos and stuff. But at some point I became like, I stopped doing it. And because I never had place for play, for game. And I never drew just something that I want to draw, just something my personal. And yeah, so that was a mistake. That was a mistake, and I regret it right now. I wish I've been drawing a lot during working, but not for work, not for the portfolio, but just for myself. That would be so good. But yeah, here we go. Here we are, and now at least now I understand it. And at least now I draw for myself. I draw for my portfolio. I try to do the best I can with the time I have right now. And yeah, back to the studying. Anyways, I was studying a lot of these jobs, and it was funny to me how I remember I was trying to do my personal art, and it was not something that I liked. Like, it looked worse than what I do at work, and it was like 2 years ago or like a year ago. And recently I started to draw again a lot, and whatever I do, I'm like, I understand now what I have to do. And this came to me after lots of hours of practicing at work, because last project I was growing so much there. I was trying so hard. I was trying so hard to get a better quality picture with every task, with every time, and it was hard. I got a burnout from that job, unfortunately. But I got a skill too, which is some payment, I would say. And now whenever I try to draw something that I want, I don't have any questions how to do it anymore. It comes more naturally to me, and I don't think I ever been on this side of personal art before. Plus, I started to experiment a lot. I started to have fun with art again. And I feel like with this approach, I started to grow even faster. And yeah, wrapping up, here we are. I'm working at my other new job, and I'm also growing. I'm also trying to learn more, but mostly now the work is happening outside of my job. And I also have a studying plan, which I plan to share soon as well on my YouTube. I want to film another video showing you how I plan studying art, how I practice it, what I learn, what I read, what I watch, and stuff. And basically, yeah, now I'm done with fundamentals. Now I'm trying to, I mean, you never are done with fundamentals, but I did a first round of learning fundamentals. I plan to go back to it again, but for now I want to learn fundamentals of, or rather some medium fundamentals of concept art and some fundamentals of drawing humans, because as an environment artist, unfortunately, I for some reason decided that I don't need to draw and learn how to draw humans, which is again a big mistake, to forget about it completely. Maybe not a mistake, but I regret it. I regret it, and I wish I could be drawing humans better, because some of my ideas for drawings require humans and knowing how to draw them, how to concept them, and stuff like this. So yeah, now I draw every day, and well, surprise, surprise, drawing every day thoughtfully helps you to get better. I wish I knew that sooner, and I actually did that before. So yeah, to summarize, I think having a structured learning plan, knowing what do you have to read, to watch, and where do you get information about art, and applying it, practicing it, helps me a lot. Which is, I mean, nothing new from that, of course, but I still thought that some of the I still thought that this journey was anyway worth sharing too. And I'll keep sharing how I learn, how I study in more details, but I thought to start with this kind of talking about my art journey, to introduce myself a little bit better, to show my story. Yeah, I think in the future I'll make more videos about particular advices that I have on drawing environments, drawing different stuff, learning. But for now, it was just mostly a talkative video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. And thank you for your attention. Till next time. Bye.